everyone, and welcome to Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, the author of Unprocessed, The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss, and Own Your Health. And this is where I show you recipes for healthy, permanent, and sustainable weight loss. You know, I've interviewed quite a few chefs, and I often ask them what their favorite recipe is. And they'll say something like, well, that's like asking a parent who their favorite kid is. The truth is, most parents do have a kid they like a little bit more, and I think when you really press chefs, we do have recipes that we favor over others. You know, I've written 4 books now and created over 400 recipes, and for me, my favorite recipes are the ones that are delicious, healthy, easy to make, and that I make over and over. And for my latest book, Own Your Health, those recipes would be the lemon poppy seed dressing, the date shake, and the one that I'm showing you today that I get so many emails about, people saying it was worth the price of the book. You can find this recipe on page 208 of Own Your Health. But if you don't want to buy the book and you still want the written recipe, just click the link below, sign up to be on my mailing list, and we will send it to you. This recipe is called jam bars. It's easy to make with ingredients that you probably have most of them in your pantry right now, and it's a delicious dessert with a cup of tea, or it could be a go-to breakfast that you can make and take. You can even freeze these. Very easy to make. So we're going to start off with some very ripe bananas. Now, I did not have any fresh bananas that were ripe, and since bananas are the sweeteners, you want them as ripe as possible. Maybe not so much black, but with lots and lots of brown spots, so they'll be sweet. The nice thing about bananas is you can freeze them. Make sure you take the peel off, and when you're using frozen bananas and you defrost them, there's going to be a lot of liquid. Now, you don't want to throw this out because that's all the sweetness, but just keep in mind that if you're using bananas that have been frozen and defrosted, you might have to add a little bit more dry ingredients to get it to work out. So if you're using room temperature or fresh bananas, it's the same principle. We're just going to mash them, and I just use a potato masher, and they mash very easily, especially once they've been frozen, because they're really, really soft. Then I'm going to add my applesauce, and there's a great recipe on this channel for an unsweetened applesauce that's easy to make in the pressure cooker. I'm going to add my spices, my cinnamon and vanilla powder. If you haven't tried vanilla powder, I would really encourage you to do so. It seems expensive, but you end up using a lot less, and it's just such a game changer. You know, I love vanilla powder so much that I would rather use no vanilla than go back to using alcohol-free or extracts with alcohol, which really I don't think tastes very good, and I am a former pastry chef. And now I'm going to add my gluten-free rolled oats, and my millet, and then I'm going to mix everything together. Now, I'm going to be baking this in a silicone baking pan. I really recommend, if you are oil-free, that you get some silicone. It's not very expensive. You can even get it at Walmart, definitely online. I have some of my favorite size pans in my Amazon store. I've had this probably over 11 years. This is a 9-inch. You could probably use an 8-inch, but I like the bigger ones better because then I get more squares. I'll probably get about 16 out of this, but always feel free to cut things as small or as big as you like. So much easier to make than desserts back in the day where you had to get out that big mix master. And then I have some berries. These are those organic wild blueberries, which I love, and I love them because they're small, so you get blueberries in every bite. But when blueberries are really in season, I often use fresh. But what I love about the frozen is that they color it purple, and I think everything tastes better in purple. You know, there's no knives in this recipe or any complicated machinery, so you could probably get your kid to make these. You know, my husband Charles, he has actually made these himself. They're that easy. So once we mix everything up so it's fully incorporated, we are just going to dump it in the silicone. I know a lot of chefs say to use parchment paper, but if you ask me, that's really not nice for the environment. It's very wasteful. Silicone pans last a very long time. They're oven safe to, I believe, 550 degrees, but the truth is, you're never going to bake over 350 or 375. And then you just spread it out over the top. Now, this would be fine. They're not jam bars yet, because where's the jam? But you could certainly just bake this and still have, you know, baked oatmeal. Nothing wrong with that. But to make them extra special and to make them more dessert-like, we are going to frost them with jam. And the jam I'm using is a fruit sweetened one. Now you can certainly make your own. I have recipes in my book and on this channel for chia jam, which is basically just fruit and chia seeds. But if you don't want to do that, you can use a fruit sweetened jam. I'm using this flavor from Trader Joe's because I like it, but almost every store now, even a regular grocery store, will have a fruit sweetened jam. And you want it just sweetened like with apple juice or grape juice, not any of the fake sugars. And this just makes it really extra decadent. Sometimes I mix more than one flavor, and I'll do like a checkerboard pattern. So like one person might have raspberry and one person might have, you know, like a pear or an orange marmalade. This really works with any fruit jam that you like. And actually I got this idea from the Forks Over Knives annual meal planner. They had a recipe, and I used that as my inspiration, but I did change quite a few things, so I think I'm allowed to do that. But always make sure that you always give credit if you're doing someone's recipe or even a similar version. So I originally saw a similar recipe in the Forks Over Knives annual meal plan, which by the way, you can always try for 2 weeks for free. I'll give you a link below as well. It's fabulous. I have a couple of videos on this channel where I'm actually doing quite a few recipes in 30 minutes. I do that every year after the Truth About Weight Loss Summit. So we just want to spread it over the top, and then the jam just kind of bakes and glistens, and it's just really, really yummy. Piece of advice I want to give you, because I was an executive pastry chef for 5 years at a Los Angeles restaurant. All my desserts were not only vegan, but free of oil, sugar, salt, gluten, and most of them actually were free of flour as well, is that with vegan baking, you just don't want to ever overmix, and always let things cool. Some of the biggest tragedies I've seen are people rushing it, trying to get it out of the pan too soon. Let things cool. So I'm going to go pop these in the oven, and I'm going to show you what they look like when I'm done. So you can see how beautiful these look when they come out of the oven. It's really important you let them cool completely before you cut them, or they could fall apart. But I can see, if you look on the side right here, you can see how beautiful it is, and it's all cooked very nicely. So let them cool. I like to cut them in about 16 squares or sometimes into triangles. I hope you'll try this recipe. It really is one of my very favorite recipes. And remember, if you don't already have the book, the recipe is on page 208 if you decide to get it, but simply sign up to be on my newsletter. The link is below, and we'll be happy to email you this recipe. Thanks so much for watching another episode of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and I truly believe you can have both the health and the body that you so richly deserve. Take care.